Hop off the plane, hit the ground running.
This is all off Pro Tools, by the way. So
okay.
Yeah, we're just trying to do everything through my engineering shit. What's up, y'all? This is ETD. We got my man Lonzo Williams in the building. What's good, man? How you doing?
What's up, folks? Just hanging out, man. Just hanging out, get ready to do what we do here.
Yeah, man. Man, we represent all things hip hop on the show. You know, we of course want to get in touch with a lot of the legends that come on the show. Of course, we had a lot of young people coming up on the previous episodes, but you know, we have to do this one, of course, for the culture.
Show some love to the old school. I ain't mad at you.
And you were a prime person in the LA scene as far as like the whole LA nightclub scene in the early days, right?
Yes, sir. Early days of West Coast hip hop, there was. And it was a few players, but when it came to nightclubs, I was a man.
Really? And
Yes,
what was it mainly? It was mainly in like the Compton area, right? Or like it was.
Well, my club was actually just outside of Compton. I mean, just like I showed you earlier, by where I live, it's just outside of Gardena. Well, we were 1 block from Compton.
And this is like, of course, like this is not necessarily. You said this was only 1 block away from like the Gardena area. This
right.
is like
and my club, Eve After Dark, was in the unincorporated part of LA, and it serviced Compton, Watts, Gardena, and LA. But technically, the address was the LA address. But again, because everybody that was in that area went to Compton schools, so we were serviced by Compton. We had a lot of Compton clientele.
A lot of the people from that area, though, they were going to your your nightclubs.
Yeah. My club was it was a spot for anybody who went to Locke, Linwood, Gardena, Compton, Centennial, mainly Centennial because it's right down the street from Centennial. But because we had such a unique situation, we were supported by everybody. Yeah.
And so, like, let's talk about your early days, man. Like, you were born mainly. Where were you born?
Born right around the corner. Where I was born in Compton, on Magnolia, and I moved to my house about 3 blocks from the club. Stayed there all my youth, as they say, and I moved there, and I moved where I am right now, which is only about 1 mile or 2 away.
And that's like, in that area, like at that area, you said like you said you started. I mean, you said you started up mainly in the Gardena scene. Like you started your business in the Gardena scene. Yeah.
Well, I went to Centennial, but I also went to Gardena High School as well, and that's where I met most of my musical buddies. I was a DJ for a couple of bands. Plus, I also the guys at Gardena High School. They became the premier promoters of the early and mid '70s, and I DJ'd for them, and we all hung out. And that was the kind of the formulation of West Coast hip hop. West Coast hip hop started from the disco dance scene of LA.
Oh, so you were around like the disco time.
That's my first name was Disco Lonzo. Don't come no older than that.
And then that's where you started like messing with like World Class Wreckin Cru and all that.
Well, my company was called Disco Construction.
Oh yeah.
Disco Construction. The company name came from a 70s band called Brass Construction. They played a lot of funk and disco. I liked the band. I liked the name of the band. Thought it was kind of a cold name, just Brass Construction. And so I named my company Disco Construction. My mobile DJ company was Disco Construction because we would go out anywhere, park, your backyard, we'd build you a party. We had lights, sound, the whole 9 yards when that shit was heavy. We're not talking about LEDs. We talking about bulbs, and you had to have 50-pound weights to hold lights down. So it was a whole different era. And so
this was held down where?
Huh?
Where was this held down?
Oh no, we had to have these big 50-pound weights. The whole lights. We had bars. I mean, it was a mess, man. We had these big poles we had to put our lights on because everything was heavy. Everything was heavy back then. It wasn't like it is now. And to do a DJ set back then was like moving a small bedroom, one-bedroom apartment like 4 times in one night.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was as I seen in the movies from the '80s, as I seen from all the hip hop movies from the '80s. I don't think it was anything like what it.
I have yet to see somebody really depict what it was like in the '80s to be a DJ. Okay.
It doesn't seem easy because like I look at it, there's like, oh yeah, you got the turntable, of course, but then the turntable is like, it's not like the turntables we have today.
Well, it's like this. When you saw Martin We started a house party. That was Lonzo in the early days. I had a Vega. A Vega, y'all don't even know what a Vega is. A Vega was a small Chevy hatchback. And I would put my records, my turntable, my 2 speakers, or actually my buddy's component set in the back of the Vega, and nobody could ride with me to the set because I had to put equipment in the front seat next to me.
Yeah.
Okay? And that was my first means of transportation back and forth to a gig. Shortly after that, I bought a van, and the van was full, and most of the time, unless we packed it just right, we'd have to put 2 cats in the front seat next to me just to get all my crew there. So I have never seen anybody really depict the real labor that it went into do a set back in the day. I mean, we had to go to the lighting companies of Hollywood to get disco lights. We had to hang mirror balls. We had, it wasn't LED shit flopping off the walls like it is now. It is a whole real. You had to know what you was doing.
I mean, fuck, for the fucking scene back then, I can't even imagine, dude.
I laugh at guys that come in, they walk into my club with a laptop and a controller.
Which club do you have right now?
I don't have it. I just got out of the club business about 6 months ago.
Oh, yeah?
I had Eve After Dark. The club I started back in 1979. I just left the club business, get tired of it, and I still DJ. I found a new residency.
Oh, you still DJ? You still DJ on your
no, I have a club. I DJ on Wednesday nights. So I play on Wednesday nights at another club, and I love DJing. That's my first and foremost love for the art of hip hop, and I just love DJing, and that's what I do. And I stopped owning the club. I was one of the first DJs to ever have a residency. I was not one of the first. I was the first DJ to ever own the club and had his own residency in his own club. I'm not talking about somebody who I worked for. I had the keys, paid the rent, paid everybody, and I was also the DJ, one of the DJs, okay? I'm the reason why Dr. Dre and Yella got their start. They came to work for me. I was the main DJ at Eve After Dark. They worked around me.
Oh, fuck. But Dr. Dre and them came up to you, you said?
They came to me to be a part of my crew.
They came to work at Eve After Dark?
Yes.
Shit.
Yes.
Damn.
They, from 1979 to 1985, Eve After Dark was the hottest club anywhere in the city. There were other clubs, but because we were a teen club and we were so progressive in what we were doing, we were bringing in acts like Run DMC, Curtis Blow. We were making our own records. We were doing all kind of stuff that nobody else was doing.
Was it like the East Coast disco scene or the East Coast club scene? Because like I know in the East Coast club scene, it was more like of course it was like Curtis Blow and all those kinds of people coming up at that time, starting up hip hop and all that shit. But was it kind of like the culture of that, or was it like kind of different from?
It was a lot different for us, man. We it had the similarities, but it was a lot different for us. We were all hustlers. We were all businessmen. We had the foresight at an early age to go to a hotel, rent the hotel room, a ballroom, get the flyers made, pass out the flyers, hire the DJs, sometimes it'd be me, and make the money from the admissions from the door.
Oh shit! So you would you would start off by doing hotel shit also?
Yeah, we did hotels. But we would also promote those events at the park. We'd go out and do a picnic in the park the day of. We go out there. That was my main gig, was go out to the park and set up shop, play records all afternoon, or all from maybe 11 till about 3 or 4 to promote the dance that night. Because that's the kind of energy we were kids. We can party all day and then party all night.
This is like in your late teens or like?
I was 22. I was maybe 21, 22. By the time I had my club and I was 22, so I had to be maybe 20 doing this right here. So it was a different era. I mean, we could actually go out to the park, put 200 people under trees, steal electricity from the bathroom, because most bathrooms have a little flat plate. They don't have electricity. They don't have plugs in public bathrooms. There's a flat plate. If you pull that plate off, there's 2 wires. Take your extension cord, plug one to one side, one to the other, get a little duct tape, tape it off, and you got electricity. And that's how we did it before we had generators. Okay?
Cops must have been fucking mad at you guys.
No, the cops were actually cool back then, man. The cops were not. They were, the county workers or the park workers didn't care for it. But after a while, when you got 150 people listen to a DJ, you don't want no shit. You don't want no shit out these people. So you let them go. You know, they're not gonna be there all night long. They're gonna be in the park anyway. So let them go and do what they're gonna do.
I know.
And then, you know, fuck some bullshit. You know, because a couple times they tried to stop us, and it got ugly, and then they worked the hassle.
At that point, I wouldn't even know what to say. Like, I mean, you're fucking. I mean, at least you're entertaining a bunch of people with the DJ shit. Like, of course, you're entertaining with a bunch of people.
Records are warping. I mean, because you're in the sun. They, you know, where the van sits, we're on the side of the park, in almost in the street, and ain't no sun. The van's not under the tree. We wouldn't dare. We would not violate nature by parking under a tree. There was no way we would do that. So we had to park on the side of the curb, and it wasn't no sunshine. It wasn't no shade. You DJing under the sun, and no matter how much you try to cover it up, them records are getting hot and they warping. And that's how we learned not only how to avoid them from getting warped, but also learned how to fix them once they got warped.
Warping, you mean like with? I mean, I kind of know what you mean when you say warping for records. You mean like when they would.
If they get hot, if an album gets 12-inch gets hot.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna warp.
Oh, that's what you mean.
It's gonna warp.
Oh, I feel you.
We're not talking about sound effects on the.
Oh no.
We talking about some physical shit.
I was going off some shit that I probably heard in the studio a couple times
warping,
here and there. But no. I know what you mean.
Ableton and final and various programs. Nah, we talking about some physical shit. These motherfuckers is going like, your needle's going like this, okay?
Yeah. What was your first encounter with Dre and Yella in the studio?
Making bootleg mixes. Yella, we had a label called Z-Rock Records.
Oh yeah.
And
it was you and Yella at first?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Me and Yella made the Z-Rocks first, and they were so unique we wouldn't even put our names on them.
Uh-huh.
And most people don't, you know, people have taken credit for it, but I did the shit. And that was our introduction to record business.
Oh shit.
See, my last job, I worked for a record distributor. Mm-hmm. I sold records over the phone in the 70s, 1976, 77, 78. I worked for a record distributor called Record Shack, and my job was to call record stores. Hey man, I got the new Bee Gees. I got the new so and so. I got the new this. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got the new Sex Pistols. And we talking. That's how far back I'm going. Okay.
Like selling Sex Pistols.
We got the Sex Pistols. We got Van Halen, and we got the new Beatles box set, shit like that. And that was my job. Mm-hmm. And once that job was no more, I kept my list. Mm-hmm. Never knew what I was going to get. In fact, it was in my bag. In my box when they put my ass out and they fired my ass.
Shit.
You know, hey, you gotta go. All right, here's my shit. And I put the list in the box. I was just pissed off, grabbed my box.
Fuck.
And left. And the list was in the box. And one couple years later, I still had the box and some other stuff sitting on the pad. And I started making these bootlegs. Hey, wait a minute, this shit could come in handy. Mm-hmm. And I started calling people. And people responded. You know, that's how, and these are tidbits of my personal life that played a major role in developing of West Coast hip hop. Most people don't understand that in the record business, when there was a real record business, you give somebody a physical product, and for them to give you physical money, mean that two things happen. One, I'm trusting this record is going to sell, and two, if it don't sell, you're either going to give me my money back or give me some new product I can sell.
That's kind of like the record business right now, except like, I mean, in a more professional environment. I don't really know.
Ain't no physical product.
I mean, sorry, not necessarily physical product, over digital, but like if a record doesn't sell at a certain point, of course you owe them money. At a certain point.
Who?
I mean, I'm not gonna say any names.
I'm just saying. Usually, I mean, Only way you could hear a record back in the day was the record store clerk had that you would have a promo copy that you listen to it. Nowadays, you can listen to it, you can preview it before you buy it. Once you buy it, it's pretty much your shit. I don't know how you're gonna return a file.
Oh yeah, well, in that sense, yeah. But I mean, I'm saying like, as far as like owing money to or owing
record
money,
companies.
yeah.
You can owe record companies very easily.
Of course,
very easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was how you got your start with distributing music, also. Bro.
Right. I was one of the first. One of the first street distributors of underground music. And at some point in time, I just got tired looking over my shoulder, and we went legit made Slice and Juice and Surgery, and those are all decent records. So it just gave us a foundation to make things happen. Dre was working with DJ Unknown on his underground label, and shortly after that, he came and I started a second label called Cut Up. Back then, we were our own competition. We would have I had 3 different mix labels at one time because we didn't want nobody else to take our records, so we would compete against ourselves. So no matter what happened, I always had product coming out because that was part of the game, is to keep product coming. They didn't care what the label was, as long as you gave me some product I could sell.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
How was what was your first encounter with Dre though? As far
Dre came to the club, wanted to get in. I would let him in because he was dressed kind of tacky at that particular time, and he came back a couple of weeks later, dressed properly. I let him in, and somehow the same night he got on my turntables. And how he did it, I didn't give him permission. He just
walked
up on the turntables, and shit, the rest is history.
Fuck. And you met is it true? Like, because of course I saw the Michel'le movie. You met Michel'le in a department store.
Hell no, that's the biggest lie ever told.
Is that true?
That's a fucking lie.
Fuck. Really?
I met Michel'le here in my house. I have multiple rooms here in the studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you before you leave. And a friend of hers brought her to me because she could sing. And it was a Sunday night. I never forget, as long as I live, because I just got off the plane, came home. I had a date. I had made an arrangement to go see my girl. Yeah. And he was trying to, hey man, I had a girl with you. No man, I got to go. I got this girl. No man, I got to go. So my date said she had to make a run, give me about 30 minutes. I said, all right, you got 25 to get over here and show me this girl so I can go.
Fuck.
He brought her over here, and she reluctantly sang for me, and I liked her voice till she opened her mouth and started talking, which was, that high.
Of course, like the high-pitched voice that we all know Michel'le by, but yeah.
And, according to the movie, I gave her a card, heard her singing, gave her a card, invited her to the studio the same day, and that wasn't true. It took me about almost a year to get back to her.
Oh, shit.
I didn't need her. I had another singer. It wasn't until my other girl wasn't available till I called her up till she was available.
So you hit Michel'le like a year after that? Damn.
Yeah, I knew. I mean, I called her. She gave me a number, and I called her. I said, at that time, we wrote numbers down. And I kept a Rolodex of people that I needed. If I needed a keyboard player, I'd go to my phone, my paper roll. Hey, singers, keyboard players, And she answered the phone and said, I need a singer. Are you available? She says, yeah.
What was her relationship with everybody in the studio, though, at first? Was it, like, similar to what?
Nah, not really. She was cool. She didn't talk. She was real shy. She was a shy girl. And she didn't sing. She didn't talk a lot. All that stuff you saw in the movie, that was all bullshit.
Fuck.
That was all straight bullshit. I mean, it was cool, but it was cool bullshit.
Nothing about...
Nah, nobody dissed her like that. Dre, he wasn't, he wasn't that kind of cat. He was like, damn, look at this chick, man. She sing like one thing and talk like Minnie Mouse, and that was the truth. It wasn't like he was lying. So it just was funny how everything just kind of transpired, man.
But that became like you guys in the World Class Wreckin Cru eventually. Like, I mean, you were the main act. You were the main DJ or the main act. One of the main acts. One of the main forefronts of the World Class Wreckin Cru, of course, right?
I formed the World Class Wreckin Cru. I owned Crew Cut Records.
Yeah.
I owned Eve After Dark. I promoted Dudos, promoted Skateland. And when I formed Crew Cut Records, as a kid, I've always wanted to be in a group. And I'm like, I mean, damn, I'm gonna spend all this money to make records. I can't be in a group. This is bullshit. So I wasn't the best rapper. I'm nowhere near being ranked rapper, but I could hold the beat with anybody. But I just refused at that time not to be a part of what I created. You know, everything was built around me, from the club, all the way from DJing, the club, the whole 9 yards, and I just couldn't separate the business part from the show part. I'm like, well, shit, I only got to be on stage, 40 minutes. I still got the rest of the week to take care of the business. Let's go have some fun. Okay? That was my attitude. And most people don't realize that before I did that, that was unheard of. But once I did it, it became the standard for LA groups. LA Dream Team, A4 Rudy had his own label. Egyptian Empire had his own label. Eazy E formed his own label. No, everybody became the standard for the '80s. Lonzo kind of broke the mold, created the mold for this right here. Hey man, let's do our own thing. You could lead your group and own the label too. Oh, you can. Why not? That was something that most time it was a separation between ownership.
Yeah, of course, at that time it wasn't really like standard for a lot of people to be the forefront of their label, but at the same time hold down their group as well, because you only had very few people at that time.
Right.
Like of course, like we could say like Russell Simmons, but Russell Simmons wasn't even a part of his own label at that, or I mean, wasn't a part of like the whole entertainment part of it. He was a forefront, of course, but he wasn't necessarily like,
As a youngster in high school, college, I was always in plays. I was in dance groups. I did stuff. I studied theater. So it wasn't, I didn't have stage fright.
Well, yeah.
So it for me, it was a natural progression. Okay, let's go have some fun. Okay, that was my own. Hey man, let's go do this. This could be fun, and we didn't have to sing. Oh shit, I could dance. So why not?
Especially for what World Class Wreckin Cru was doing in this, and especially what you were doing at that time for the LA scene, in the club scene. It didn't seem like, because of course World Class Wreckin Cru was like known to be a very like flashy type of like flashy hip hop group, or funk based type group. It wasn't so much like secluded in its own space. It was of course, as you were saying, like it was everything entertainment. It was everything going out there.
Right. So for us to do what we did at that time, it was a hell of a time. It was a lot of groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah.
There was nobody before us doing the way we did it. So there was there was really no blueprint. We had to make the blueprint. We had to chop down the bushes, pave the way, and then make the blueprint for everybody else to follow us. So, that is probably my biggest claim to fame, because I had such a unique introduction into the music business, into DJing. I was able to do a lot of stuff in different areas where some people may have been limited. I didn't have any limits. My own limits were my own personal limits. I just refused to do gangster rap. I just didn't feel that was something that was good for me at that time. Still don't.
You still don't think that gangster rap is you don't think that that's a good fit for a lot of the...
I said for me.
Oh, for you.
For me. I got a question for you. I got a question for your audience.
Yep.
Aside from being some of the funkiest music we've ever had, who has gangster rap benefited aside from Dre and Q?
I mean, gangster rap, I could say like it's benefited a lot of people as far as like...
How?
As far like, are we talking about success, or are we talking about
success? Well, understand what success is.
Like,
okay?
Like let's just say like, being a part of the rap scene as a whole.
Some of the biggest stars in the gangster rap era are dead or in jail.
Well, like we could say like people like 50 Cent have also like
50 Cent. Okay, but 50 Cent, he parlayed his 50 Cent and Dre and Q parlayed most of their gangster persona into business. Okay, which is great.
Yeah.
which is great, and I commend them for that. But when you look at the overall, and this is a personal thing for me. Only most people may not share my sentiment with this, right? When you look at it from a social standpoint, it was actually a detriment for a lot of people.
You think that gangster rap was a detriment?
A lot of people went to jail behind being a lot of people are in jail and dead behind being influenced by gangster rap.
Well, I mean, I think
A lot of people lives. I remember before Straight Outta Compton came out, I was doing some shopping and I saw a cat. He said, "Hey man, you Lonzo?" I said, "Yeah, dude." He said, "Man, yeah, man, you got the movie coming out about NWA." I said, "Yes, you going to see it?" He said, "Nah, man, I can't do that, man, because I lived that life, man, and I bring back too many bad memories." You got a lot, people don't understand how many guys went to jail in that time period, how many people's lives were affected in that time period. And it was glorified to a certain degree, but it was also lived by a lot of people. And those who lived it didn't see the glorification of it because they ended up being victims of it. When you have guys that are still doing time today behind the attitude that gangster rap projected, not to mention guys who are still in jail today or just getting out of jail for the gangbanging attitude they eventually adopted. The mindset, I think the gangster mindset that was of that era hurt a lot of people. And although it was a musical mindset, it verified what I always knew, that music is more powerful than people realize.
Yeah, I think the image is what gets people, but I think that's also the person who perceives the idea of gangster rap. Isn't that kind of like a lot of people would also argue that side?
Well, and that I would welcome that too, because when I first saw it, I first got the glimpse of it.
Gangster rap?
Gangster rap. I mean, just everything we're talking about was started right here in my house. Everything. When you saw Straight Outta Compton, Eazy E walking out of the studio or in the studio telling Cube and in the studio, it was right over there, man. That was at my house. I experienced this firsthand.
You said that Eazy E
was at my house every day, just like you at my house right now doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Eazy was at my house every day doing demos.
Fuck.
Okay, my house is a legendary facility. It's been a part of hip hop since I bought it in 1985, and everything you saw.
It was in this exact.
The same house, the exact same address.
Damn.
If you could swab this place for DNA, you'll probably find Dre and Eazy all over it. Okay.
Imagine finding Dre's DNA. That's crazy.
So
or Eazy's.
When I speak, I'm not speaking from a third party. I'm speaking from a first hand, up close and personal, like nobody else was. And I, at that time, was about 28 years old when the whole thing was formulated, and I knew enough about the gangster lifestyle of my era that I couldn't retroactively become a rookie gangbanger at 28 years old. Understand, everybody in NWA is at least 7 to 8 years younger than I am.
Well, I mean, Dre's about like 54 at this point.
Dre's 54,
yeah. Dre's 54.
Dre's 54.
Yeah.
I'm 62.
Damn.
Okay. So that makes it. And I was 24. Dre was 16.
Dre was 16 when you met him?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
So we 16, maybe 17, but I'm 24 years old with a house and a kid. He's a young kid fresh out of high school, and they had an idea to try something that I'd already been through. You follow me?
Yeah.
I'd already did my gangsterish type shit in the streets of Compton, and I knew the penalties, and I had already been caught up, and I didn't want to go back to that. I didn't want to. No. Okay, but it was a different generation coming up now. Okay.
Yeah.
And they made it seem like it was something different, and I'd already seen guys that I grew up with die, go to jail for life, and I didn't want no parts of it. So for have some young guys come in who don't know nothing, start rapping about it, and especially young guys who really weren't gangsters rap about it.
But was it? But Eazy already was a gangster at that time.
Gangster. At one point in time, everybody was affiliated. Don't mean you were. I mean, everybody was associated. Don't mean you was affiliated. It's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Yeah.
You know, he was respected by his community, by his boys in the hood. I was too. But I was respected for taking people to school. I had a car.
Yeah.
Nobody would mess with me because I had a car.
Yeah.
You know, Eazy had Rufus Records. He would, you know, everybody respected me. He had money. So it's not because I was a tough guy. It was because I had a car. I provided entertainment. So it was a different era, man. You know, you didn't have to really go out and put in a lot of work far as doing things that might get you thrown in jail to get you respected. Because especially if you had the dope. If you were selling dope, you were considered a hustler.
Yeah.
Okay? In most aspects. And if that was your justification for street cred, you know, and you were able to defend that if need be, then you were cool.
Yeah.
You know, to me, you were shooting everybody. It just means you was man enough to protect what you had established. Different time.
But at that time, like, I think, like, I kind of look at this is how I kind of think about Eazy E, like, or anybody a part of gangster rap or the whole gangster rap movement of that time. I mean, I kind of think of it like, gangster rap to a lot of people may have benefited in the wrong way, but of course that's also how the person, like, kind of thinks of it. Eazy E, in a way, I kind of think like, yeah, he could have stayed hustling the way he was, but also he kind of benefited. He benefited that story that he had. That, I mean, of course, like, as you said, like, if you were selling drugs on the street, you were considered a hustler. But he took that and kind of made Wall Street out of Compton.
He made a lot of money with that.
Yeah.
But when you can't separate the two, and it's real hard to explain that without getting real fucked up to a certain degree, because without coming off harsh, you know. It's not about being a flash in the pan, it's not about making a bunch of money and dying at a young age. That's not, and that's what I was taught. Yeah. Okay, it's not about being a flash. It's about being the sun where you can glow for a while.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest and the best, along with Tupac, Biggie, Eazy. I mean, and how did those three guys all find the demise at such a young age? You know, basically from the same musical genre. The Rolling Stones, they're damn near 80s. They're still doing their concerts. That's the difference. When a musical genre is, are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording.
When a musical genre is a part of a detriment of a community, is it really benefiting anybody?
Well, why would you call this a detriment, though? Like, why would you call this like an overall detriment? Cause I mean, you could listen to gangster rap overall and be like, this is you know, it sounds harsh. It does have like a harsh tone to it. It does talk about a lot of things that are probably, in a way, to the mass public detrimental. But in a certain aspect, you could kind of look at it and be like, oh, I mean. What if this guy's kind of like, as you said, like, they could be putting on a persona to like kind of build his image, like because of course, like in the music industry, like, building an image is everything. Like,
you're right.
Yeah, like Tupac, like, he wasn't necessarily looked at as like, you know, he calls himself. I mean, he calls himself a thug, but he wasn't necessarily a thug. He was portraying this image of a thug, and then people respected that, of course, and that's where he kind of got, like, you know, Tupac, Machiavelli.
Understand this.
Yeah.
Everybody respected that except for that one guy that shot him.
Yeah. But I mean,
everybody respected that, except for the guy that shot him. Okay, and I think that's my point. When you are, you know, it's like if you watch old westerns, there's always the hot gunslinger. And everybody comes after that gunslinger because if they get that gunslinger, they get his reputation. And in so many ways, gangster rap is almost the same way. You find a lot of your gangster rappers spend a lot of money defending cases, man. You don't, that's the only genre. That's the only genre that has that kind of problem. I mean, of course, everybody catches cases, but I mean, look at now. Look how many hip hop artists are fighting cases right now, fighting for their lives because of their attitude.
Of course, like we could say that, but that's on a personal note for artists. But I'm saying like the music itself, like of course, like see, like nowadays, like they always talk about hip hop police, like left and right, but see that's where the artist doesn't necessarily think as far as like helping himself. But like if we look at like gangster rappers that have come out in like the early days, like let's say like early 2000s, like we had like of course Get Rich or Die Trying and all that kind of stuff. If we were to look at those kinds of eras, most of those people, yes they were putting on, yes they were portraying something, but they weren't but that was on themselves. That was their own personal decisions that kind of like outside of the music industry, like outside of the gangster rap industry, that kind of like made themselves.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Hip hop is based on keeping it real.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
So if you are portraying something that you're not to your audience in most cases assume that you are who you say you are. And when you are an artist of any kind, whether you're the Beatles, Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, you are an influencer. When Michael Jackson was the man, everybody and his mama had flooding pants and socks on up to their ankles, okay? Pants up to their ankles with socks and jerry curls.
Yeah.
When Prince was the man, I've seen cats walking to the club wearing G-strings and coats. I personally was a Morris Day and the Time fan, so I've had the baggy pants and the pompadour. So when you are a fan of a certain artist, you tend to gravitate toward that artist's lifestyle just out of pure idolization. When you gravitate toward the gangster lifestyle, your attitude towards people gets real fucked up. I've seen it. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Oh shit! You're 20 years old.
I grew up.
Congratulations. Where you live?
Where do I live? I'm from the OC.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Now I'm gonna give you some lessons here. All right. I ran a nightclub for 40 years in the same corner, Avalon, Segundo. 40 years, 1979 to 2019. I've seen 4 generations of entertainment, firsthand, up close and personal, firsthand, like nobody else. I remember when we can go to a party when teenagers your age can go to a party, rent a room, and put another 200 people in there, make another $2,000 or $3,000, and do it again every 2 weeks. I remember as a young man myself going into my own club at 22 years old, wearing a suit because I wanted to wear a suit because that's what I felt like wearing, making $4,000 to $5,000 a week. I remember leaving that same facility, coming back a few years later in the gangster era, and I could not wear a suit because I had to become a part of the security team because everybody's mama wanted to fight. I had to have roving security guards in the same club that I ran in a suit where everybody was partying and dancing, the same club, and in the 90s, I had to wear tennis shoes, jeans, and a sweatshirt and walk around the club for 5 hours to keep from pockets of fights breaking out. The same club that at some point in time I had to go around and keep people from damn near fucking in the club because it was such a sexual environment. Everybody was hump dancing. You know, you got and everybody. Girls' legs up in the air and homeboy dancing. Get your dick out. You know, so it was this kind of shit. Yeah. So, because I've seen so much, I understand the impact a lot more than the average person. Okay. So when I speak on how that generation was just detrimental, people used to walk from miles around to Eve after dark just to party with us and walk home at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. you can't send your kid to the grocery store anymore in this neighborhood. Kids are dying every day going to the grocery store. So when I see how that attitude, that lifestyle has been magnified and projected over a certain amount of generations, and it's been detrimental. You guys your generation experienced more guys going to jail and dying than we ever did. Most of the guys that died in our situation died from car wrecks. We didn't do a lot of shooting. Wasn't no shooting involved in our situation.
Yeah, as I heard.
You know, hip hop at a certain point in time became, you know, even as a promoter for hip hop events. I'm the guy that brought first plane tickets to a lot of guys. So when I see, you can't put a gang or a lot of people into a venue without somebody getting stabbed, shot, or whatever. When violence becomes a part of the everyday aspect of a certain genre, it ain't working no more for me. And that's why I'm out of the club business, because it's violence becomes, it's almost a byproduct of current hip hop.
I just think like a lot of the music that is coming out. See, the thing is, there are a lot of artists. Not necessarily saying the music of today, but there are also a lot of artists in the game that you could kind of relate to with that certain topic, because a lot of artists in the game, these people aren't even from the certain areas, like certain hoods and certain neighborhoods that have this kind of.
You got artists right now that are achieving success and then going back and retroactively joining gangs. That's the dumbest shit in the world.
Yeah, see, that's the dumbest shit. But that doesn't necessarily. I don't think that necessarily has to do anything with like gangster rap as a whole. I think like when I say gangster rap, I think like when I hear that, it's like, oh yeah, it's speaking truth. Like that's also the person.
Well, see, if you speak in truth, and the truth is not glorifying a lifestyle that is detrimental to your own generation,
yeah,
that's respectable.
Yeah.
Okay? But when you're speaking truth and you're lying to trying to impress people,
yeah,
while impressing people, you encouraging them or giving them a green light to try what they did, and knowing that if you get caught up, you have the financial resources to get your ass bailed out, to get your ass a good lawyer, and probably get slapped on the wrist, where your fan base is going to the penitentiary.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, that's like a lot of people nowadays, especially like with what I'm seeing on Instagram and like World Star and all that. It's always like that's like mainly what's on the news with a lot of rappers. I mean, I don't necessarily glorify it as a whole, but I mean, those are the certain people that don't necessarily know how to perceive a lot of the other music that's being.
There's a lot of music that is detrimental or I'm gonna stay with non-detrimental, that you don't hear anything about unless you go on YouTube. They don't get the same support. And I just think that because there's a lot of people that make money off of people going to penitentiaries. I mean, we didn't have the prison industrial complex 30 years ago. Now we do. So there is a requirement necessary for a lot of prisons that you have to keep them at a certain capacity. So while a certain kind of music is being promoted to a certain generation, I don't give a fuck, and then all of a sudden you don't give a fuck. When you hear about stories here in LA where 8 people get shot, or 7 people get shot at a bowling alley, then you find out the whole purpose, the initiating factor was about some French fries.
Okay, yeah. I mean, at that point, it's
okay,
like, yeah.
Come on, man. That's just bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
8 people gotta die behind some French fries?
See, that's bullshit. But that's the person who doesn't know how to react in that type of situation.
But again, when you have a certain genre of music that promotes that type of attitude, okay, that becomes the attitude of a certain generation, which means that it's perpetuated. You follow me?
Yeah.
I mean, if that had been a gospel, if that whole situation had been based around, I'm gonna say gospel, everybody would say, excuse me, 8 people would still be here today. Okay?
Yeah.
If you had a different attitude, okay, it's like when you go get with your girl and y'all trying to get intimate you're not gonna put on gangster rap. I don't think you are.
Music always, of course, to me, of course, I'm not gonna put gangster rap when I'm fucking a girl or like when I'm doing this and that. But of course, like certain music is fitting for certain things. Like as I kind of like look at it.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
But everything.
Like I'm in my car. Like if I'm in my car, I'll be listening to 50 Cent and like Eminem and all that kind of stuff, or I'll be listening to Eazy E, you know, because I mean sometimes it like makes me feel good, but like I mean like of course like yeah I agree with you on that certain point. Like if music is meant for certain aspects, like like you're chilling, you're smoking, you want to listen to like what's it called I don't know, like Snoop or some shit, or you want to listen to like this guy or that guy, but you don't want to listen to like hardcore
right
rap. Like,
just like you don't want to listen to gospel when you fucking either, do you?
yeah, of course. Like,
Okay.
You don't want to listen to gospel. If I were to listen to a gospel record while fucking a girl, I would have a problem because you know you hear that high note, you're like, holy, I know, and then she's like, like I'm like, okay.
All I'm saying is that over a period of time, my experiences have taught me that music has a lot more influence than the people that make it realize.
Of course.
And when you have that kind of power, if you don't understand your power, you can mislead a lot of people. And I think in a lot of cases, especially people who don't have any counterparts to balance themselves out, find themselves misled by a lot of artists who are just trying to get a couple dollars.
The thing for me is like yeah, I agree with you. Like I like music does drag a lot of people in a certain direction. If I listen to like a funk record from like the 1970s or some shit, or like if I listen to like Parliament Funkadelic, like, and I still do listen to like a lot of music. I have a very diverse like you know reasoning for music. Like I never just say like, oh no, this certain thing is bad and that certain thing is bad. No, I always listen to everything. But of course, like if I were to listen to certain music, like it does lead me in a certain direction, but it doesn't. But it's my decisions, of course, that make me want to say, okay, if I listen to an Eazy E record one day, if I listen to It's on Dr. Dre, I'm not gonna feel like or if I'm gonna listen to fucking Boys in the Hood, some shit like that, it's not gonna make me feel though. It's my decision though. In the end of the day, to decide, okay, is this where I want to go with my next move, or do I want to stay here and just?
But you have that option.
Yes, that is.
Being a 20-year-old guy from Orange County.
Yes, of course.
If you live in South Central, those options may be a little bit more limited.
Of course, like when you're a guy from South, if you're a guy from South Central and you experience these kinds of things while listening to this type of music, I mean, yeah, it could make you think. But there are a lot of people in South Central also, or there could be people in certain areas that do listen to this music, and it's not like everybody who listens to Eazy E or not.
I never say every.
Keef in Inglewood.
I'll never say every, but I will say that the heavy influence. I've seen the aftermath of the heavy influence of gangster rap. Yeah. Anytime a genre of music is promoting homicide, suicide, or genocide, I have no use for it. Mm-hmm. I have no use for it as a grown man. I mean, why would I want to listen to music that's talking to me about killing other people or killing myself? Yeah. Okay. Homicide, genocide, or suicide. Okay. Those three genres of music are useless to anybody other than the people that are making them. I mean,
yeah. You see, if you're making records, if you're like necessarily, you see, like to me, it's like if
most of your gangster rap is promoting homicide.
Well, I mean, like the thing is, like, yeah, there are aspects of homicide in them, but the thing is like if you're a regular guy with a day-to-day job, like let's just say I have a job and. Or if I have like some responsibilities going on in my life, like yeah, like none of that. I doubt like or not even. I don't even want to say I doubt because like who really knows with the average person? Like but it's less likely that a person is gonna think automatically that this is gonna be that I'm gonna go out and kill a person today, or I'm gonna go out and like rape a woman today, or some shit like that.
If you got music that's telling you that you got to carry your 9 all the time, and if you got to be prepared to kill a smoking fool who disrespect you.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's being pounded in your head for the past 5 or 10 years, and you 17, 18 years old, and you got access to a gun, and you feel disrespected, and your homies has been under the same mental influence that you got to smoke a fool when he disrespect you, motherfucker, or you ain't shit, and this is a part of your mental DNA. After a while, this type of attitude becomes a part of your attitude.
Was this what you were seeing in Eazy E at that time, or no?
And Eazy was the coolest cat I've ever known, man.
Yeah.
You know, Eazy was a character. People saw it right in front of your face, and it don't register with most people. Because I knew Eazy. I knew Eazy before he was Eazy. I knew he was when he was just Eric.
How at what age did you know Eazy at?
He must have been about 20, 21.
20, 21. Damn, that's crazy.
Maybe 19. I mean, Eazy was around my house long before he created Ruthless Records.
Eazy's like as old as my dad. He was like born, what was he, 63? Yeah. It was like
No, Eazy was a year or two older than Dre, 54. Might be 55.
No, I was talking about the year, 63.
Oh, 63, yeah. Dre was born in 65, so Eazy might have been born in 63.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So yeah, he was like a year or two older.
So, these guys...
Yeah, you were saying?
Oh.
Yeah.
This dude was one of the coolest characters I've ever met. I've never really seen him lose his cool. But when you saw him, he was never intended to be an artist. He was never
like as we see in the movie.
As you saw in the movie, he got thrown into something, and he couldn't believe people was buying this shit. You know, they like me like this.
Yeah.
And he was just having fun being that character, Eazy E. Mm-hmm. Okay. And if you know Eazy was always giving money away, donating money, doing stuff. Yeah. That he was enjoying the fucking ride.
From what I've seen in all the Eazy E documentaries, like, yeah, he seemed like a pretty cool character. We actually, you know, I started getting some more sources of Eazy E's life. He seemed like the character that not many people would hear in like the songs. I mean, my mom and dad have heard some of the music, and after that, I remember they would tell like the other parents in my class, like, please do not play this for other kids.
Well,
yeah, I remember like they were like, oh hell no.
You know, it and compared to what kids listen to today, that was some mild shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Compared
to that, yeah.
And this is where I come in at, because when you see the beginning of it and how people responded to it. Mm-hmm. Like you saw straight out of Compton, they was backing bulldozers over the shit and throwing it away, blah, blah, blah. But nowadays, there is no physical product to run over. And because everybody in this mind...
You have to run over a computer right before you
got to run over the whole goddamn computer. That means your books, all your letters, everything got to go. And even back then, we had... Everybody's car had bumping sound systems.
Yeah,
now those sound systems have been replaced with headphones. There still people still do have bumping sound systems, but most people listen to their music through headphones now. So the average parent don't know what their kid listening to.
Yeah, that was the beauty of it all. I mean, for me, it was the beauty of it all, because once I fucking started listening to shit on my iPod when I was like 10 years old. It was the best times of my life. Yeah, I was like, my parents were like, nah, no.
How do you regulate an iPod?
What's up?
How the fuck do you regulate an iPod?
You can't. You just literally, you get YouTube to MP3 or some shit. You get a song off YouTube. You're like, okay, fuck.
Okay, even back in the day when Eazy first came out, you could even buy the custom version in Walmart. They had 2 versions of everything.
Now they don't. Now they have like the clean version.
They make a clean version just for radio. Okay, nobody buys it. They just make it for radio so you can play it. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, you had to make a clean version, and you had a Walmart version and a street version. And the street version had the sticker on it. Yeah. They started putting the stickers on it back in 1989, and the shit went to hell in a handbasket after that.
Fuck. I mean, for Eazy E, I can't really think of that. But
that's what everybody. I mean, the whole Luke. Everybody had the same problem. Luke was a master. He was the king of talking nasty.
Who was Uncle Luke? You're saying?
Uncle Luke, yeah. Luke and Two Live Crew.
Yeah.
They were the kings of talking nasty.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That cover, of course, the Two Live Crew cover. That's like one of the most controversial covers in all hip hop.
And they won their lawsuit against Disney. Okay.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like,
that shit. You know that they won their first amendment right against Disney.
Yeah, Brother
and
Marquise and all
everything else.
that.
You know, everybody else. Custom became mandatory.
Of course.
You know, talking crazy became mandatory. So there's only so much shock value in the world. Okay, nowadays, you know, nobody even tries anything else other than shock value for the most part, as far as you see on mainstream. You know, you have a lot of talented artists, but because, you know, sometimes stupid supersedes talent. You get more stupid than talent.
Where was Boys in the Hood recorded?
The demo was done over here. It's this studio right here.
So that scene, scene in Straight Outta Compton was right over here.
Yeah, it was done in the mother room of another studio over there. It was done right here.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, so you're not talking to some guy who just read about this shit. I was,
of course, yeah.
I paid the light bill. That's something to be recorded. Shit.
yeah, that's fucking crazy. And at what point did you and Dre kind of like shift off? Like, was it around the time when like he had signed to Jerry Heller?
Well, Wreckin Cru was signed to Jerry Heller before Eazy was. In fact, I'm the reason why Eazy even met Jerry Heller.
Wait, Wreckin Cru was signed to Jerry Heller?
Yeah. He was my manager first.
Oh, Jerry Heller was your manager first?
In Straight Outta Compton, Eazy and Jerry met in a goddamn warehouse. Jerry was carrying records. More bullshit.
Oh, shit.
Eazy paid me to introduce him to Jerry Heller. Okay, Eazy owed me some money. He gave me my money plus a little bonus. Hooked me up with Jerry Heller. I want a meeting. I made the connection.
Damn. The movie, they just said like.
They didn't have me in the movie. When Dre was on the steps of Compton, after Eazy got him out of jail, they didn't tell you I got Dre out twice before then.
Fuck.
That's when we finally split up. I finally get him out to jail the third time. He kind of rolled toward Ruthless. So there's a lot that people don't know. Only I know. And it don't make difference, but what it does show is a pattern, and also shows a backstory to the truth. That's why I do podcasts. You know, normally I don't really know you, so you know it's not like you're a big time podcaster, but I tell my story to everybody.
Not yet. Okay. I'll just say that.
I'm betting on you. I'm betting that you blow up. So when this podcast blows up, it'd be more reinforcement to your audience that Lonzo was that guy. Okay. You know, and I think it's very important for me that people like myself. There's a lot of guys like me. You know, if you watch Netflix right now, there is a documentary called The Black Godfather about another guy. He's much older than I am. Called Clarence Avant. This guy put some of the biggest deals together in the industry, and nobody knew who he was. If you wasn't in the industry, you don't know who he was. So there's a lot of guys like that. In fact, I was talking to one guy earlier, the guy that you saw earlier when you was coming to my house.
Oh yeah, him?
The guy he's behind Tyrese. He's the guy that created Tyrese.
He made Tyrese.
He was Tyrese's music teacher at Locke High School, Reggie Andrews. You ever heard the song Let It Whip?
Let It Whip. I think I have.
Let It Whip. Da, 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 da.
Oh yeah.
He wrote that song, okay?
He did.
The guy that just left here. That
shit.
Old guy.
What was his name again?
Reggie Andrews.
Reggie Andrews?
He was a music teacher at Locke High School.
Oh, shit.
Okay? There's a lot of guys like that in my era, did a lot of things for a lot of people that you don't know nothing about.
Of course.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, I'm one of those guys, I'm kind of outspoken. Kind of my ass. I'm an outspoken son of a bitch. And I've come to the realization, if I don't tell my story, you won't know it.
Yeah, of course.
So I tell my story every chance I get to whoever want to listen, because it's a very important story. It wasn't an accident that I was who I am so Dre could become who he is. Okay? So, you know, these things are important to me. I tell them it's part of my legacy, and it's what I do.
Of course, man.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. We're always we're always respectful to all things hip hop or all things related to hip hop or the legends that we look up to. Dr. Dre, to me, is one of my favorites, and I look at him as one of the biggest. And for you to be an essential part of his career, the start, that's big. That's big, of course. Yeah.
Afro Man, Eazy E, Michel'le, Compton's Most Wanted. Mm-hmm. All these folks came from this studio, came from this facility. Mm-hmm. So these are the kind of things that a lot of people, everybody don't know. These things that I know, and when and those DAT tapes over there contain more history than you realize.
Yeah, I saw like the World Class Wreckin Cru stuff right outside. That shit was insane. I was like,
this whole room. I had to build this room mm-hmm. just to transfer the various formats of music that I've had to use over the years to record my artists. Yeah. For everything from ADATs to VHS tapes to 8mm DAT masters, reel to reels. I mean, I've been in this game so long, I've had every musical format known to man. In order for me to capture that music and digitize it, either I got to pay somebody a whole lot of money or I got to build a transfer studio. You were sitting in my transfer studio / podcast studio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it. Not Without Lonzo. I was like, oh yeah, I recognize that right there. Yeah.
That's my book. My book, Not Without Lonzo, available on Amazon. If you want to connect with me, folks, all you gotta do is text Lonzo 424-363-8141, and I'll hook up with you. I got you. You'll have information. You join my podcast. I have a YouTube channel, Lonzo Williams and Real Lonzo NWA. Same thing for my Instagram and my Facebook page. Do all that right there. But you want to catch me, you want to hook up with me, we can stay connected.
This is all free advertising, by the way.
Free advertising. Text Lonzo to 424-363-8141.
Of course, man.
We good?
Yeah, of course. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe. This is Lonzo Williams, of course. Thank you so much for being on my show, man.
If it came out of Compton, it came out of me.